Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan battle video. And today we are going to take a look at my top 7 teams of 2021, or my top teams that I think are some of the best in the game. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. There are definitely like some other fantastic teams. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you some teams, 7 teams that I think are some of the best in the game. They're some of my personal favorites. Some of them I'll talk about specific team builds, but some of them there's literally like so many options. It's just like, yeah, find a couple rotations you like, find a couple supports and you're good, but there's just so many options on some of these teams, right? So some of them I'll talk like once again more about specific builds, but on some of these teams you just have so many choices. Just pick your favorite rotations and kind of put them together, right? So let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll go into my team tab here. All right, and these are in no particular order, so I'm not going to rank like one better than the other. I'm just going to say these are my top 7. The reason why I'm choosing 7 is because that's how many team slots I have. Also, keep in mind, this is a global list, so this won't include things like the TUR androids and things like that came out on JP, right? So obviously, I know that the new androids are insane on JP. I haven't used them myself, so it's hard for me to kind of rank them. But just based on what I have on global and what I've used on global, these are going to be my top 7 teams, right? So one team I'd like to look at, this first team that you can see on the screen here. This is one of my all-time favorite teams. I like to call this one Team UI Goku. This is one where I do like a very specific team build, and I feel like this is the best build for the team. Obviously, if you're doing, for any of these team builds though, by the way, guys, if you're doing different types of content, like the team builds are going to change, right? So like some team builds are better for long events and some team builds are better for short events. So just keep in mind that I do think that these teams are flexible enough that they have really good options for multiple events, right? So basically the way I run this team is we take AGL UI Goku, we do a rotation with him in the Int UI, and then another rotation with him in the Strength UI. They link up very, very well together, and they're all like really busted units. And then we take this UI as a floating support, Tiana Roshi as a floating support, and LR Master Roshi, who I still think is probably the best free-to-play unit in the game, as another floating support. And there you go. Like, to me, this team is set. This is what I like to run. Those of you that haven't seen my team building videos before, for a standard team, for like standard content, I do like to run it with 2 main rotations with floating support. If you're running things like Super Battle Road though, like if the support isn't good enough to hold up, you don't run support, you just run defensive units or like really offensive units. But I'm just talking about just for general gameplay, these are team builds that I like, right? All right, second team, GT Heroes. I still think GT Heroes is a really busted team. Still one of the best teams in the game. This team is just so powerful. If I want to speedrun content, GT Heroes is typically the type of team I will take in. GT Heroes I was able to take just into like some of the God event stages, like just ignoring the typings and just powered through them because this team is so strong. The physical Goku and Int Vegeta leaders are so amazing. Their orb changing is insane. Their attack stats are very free and easy and very consistent. And then the Super Saiyan 4 EZAs, to me, are still like 2 of the best 120 lead EZAs in the game. They're still 2 of the best units in the game. And then, not to mention that GT Heroes has like 2 of the best support units in the game with the Goten Trunks and the Goten Gohan unit. They're absolutely busted as well. Just the premium support options combined with the absolute offensive and defensive power this team has, I think GT Heroes deserves to be up there as a top 10 team in the game, right? All right, so next we've got the LR Namek Frieza, and this would be Sworn Enemies Planet Namek Saga. Now, I think you could also lump this into Strength Cooler's Terrifying Conquerors team. I think they could be lumped in as well. I kind of go back and forth. Like, the Strength Cooler team does give you some more options. Like, this team build you can't run Physical Cooler on, and I really, really do like Physical Cooler. But LR Namek Frieza is probably still to this day, like, probably the best unit in the game. I think even on JP, he could still be the best single unit in the game. And so any team build that allows you to run 2 of the best unit in the game on it, I think needs to be considered as a top team in the game. So you definitely could do different builds for this team, but I think the core of like Namek Frieza, transforming Frieza, and then I think this physical Frieza is absolutely really, really good. He does not have big bad bosses, but he still links really well otherwise with the Friezas. I do think that the Strength LR Prime Battle Frieza could still be like a good contender to be on this team. But then in third form Frieza. So I think that core of 4 at the top is like really, really good. And then the other 2 slots you can kind of be flexible with. So if you want to do more of a support build, you could do Dodoria and Zarbon And then I actually do like Jace as a floating support. I think people do forget about Jace on teams other than the Ginyu team. Jace does not need to be on a full Ginyu squad. He's going to support the team, key 3 and 30% attack, but he comes with Scouter. So the fact that he comes with Scouter just whenever he shows up, I think is very valuable. But you could run like a more powerful build. So maybe you're not a fan of the Dodorian, Zarbon, or the Jace. You could run Int Namek Goku on here, who is maybe considered to be the second best unit in the game. The only reason I didn't have Int Namek Goku on this particular build is he doesn't link super well with the Friezas. But even with like lowly linked, like the Goku is still going to dominate. So yes, you could take Dodorian, Zarbon out, put in the Int LR Namek Goku, something like that, and go crazy, right? So this team has enough good premium options on it, I think, to be considered a top team. And once again, any team where you can carry 2 of the best unit in the game, I think just needs to be there, right? All right, this one maybe could be controversial, but I really like Dragon Ball Heroes. I think you could lump this into Dragon Ball Heroes or crossover. There's honestly too many units for me to talk about. This is one of those teams where you just look at the plethora of EZAs, those new Super Saiyan 3 units. You could do an extreme build with the extreme units like Mechikabura or whatever. You basically just pick out your linking rotations and your supports and you're good to go. If you're running heroes, though, specifically, I think this Pan is like a must run. I still like this Toa. Like, I use this Toa everywhere as a support. Now, in really hard content like Super Battle Road, she sometimes can get you killed, but she does have some sealing and some debuffs in her kit that actually still work in Super Battle Road. Like, I used her on some recent Super Battle Road runs, and she actually did fine. I do think out of, like, all the new EZAs, the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks gets props. Like, he's absolutely insane. He's spitting out 5 to 6 million attack stats with 300k defense. Like, this guy's really, really, really good. But, like, you could do, like, so, like, this AGL Trunks and then this Gohan, they're like a great rotation, right? The Trunks himself, as a leader and an orb changer, he's actually a really good unit. You could float him as a floating orb changer if you wanted to, or make him an on-rotation unit. Like I said, there's the extreme units like Mechikabura. I actually think like the Brainwashed Supreme Kai of Time in Super Battle Road and like Robel and even Poutine, like those units are awesome in Super Battle Road. With all the debuffing they do and all the different things they can do there, I think they're great. But yeah, there's just so many of these Dragon Ball Heroes units. You've got the Super Saiyan 3 Vegetas that could be a great rotation. You've got like that Super Saiyan 2 Trunks crossover support, who's absolutely ridiculous as a crossover support. So if you're running more of a crossover build, I still think like the Super Saiyan 4 Broly and Super Saiyan 4 Vegito combo is still like a really good combo from last year. So I just think Heroes got so many good new fun units that are actually like really good and viable. A lot of good. So there's like, I didn't even talk about like there's the Vegeks, there's the AGL Gotenks, the Gohanks, like there's all of those other Super Saiyan 3s. They're a little bit more like stackier type units. So like for long events though, I think there's a lot of good options. But yeah, Dragon Ball Heroes, I think they're a great team. I've been running them a lot. I really enjoy them. We can't go like 2 videos, or we can't go more than 1 video without talking about Hit, right? Because Hit is just absolutely insane. So I do think Hit's Universal Survival Saga team / Universe 6 is really, really good. Just based alone on the core of having 2 tech hits and an LR God Goku in Hit, like that right there is a really good start to an amazing team. Then if you're running Hit as the lead with Universal Survival Saga and Universe 6, you do have some good support options. I think Topo's still a great support option. UI Goku's a good support option. The Int Kale is still a good support option, right? And then basically, you just pick what you want. So there's a couple ways you can run it, right? So you could run it with 2 tech hits on rotation, 1 rotation maybe with the God Goku and Hit. And then the other rotation, you just put somebody with the other tech hit. So like LR Goku and Frieza could be an option, right? Maybe you just want to throw AGL UI Goku on there. That's fine. Or you could float a hit and just do another rotation. So this example would be, you could do the Vegeta Goku combo, which is a pretty darn good rotation. You could do UI Goku with STR UI Goku. This is one of those teams where you just have a ton of options and you basically pick out your good rotation units and you pick your favorite rotations and put them together, combo it with your favorite support options, or don't run any support and just run an absolute powerhouse team without support, which you could do. The other thing is this guy's great in slot 3. So you could make this guy a slot 3 floating unit, right? And then maybe you have a hit rotation with LR Goku and Frieza, and then maybe you do a UI Goku Vegeta rotation, right? Or a double UI Goku rotation, something like that. So you could even, if you wanted to, maybe you really like Jiren, right? Do LR Jiren with a Topo rotation. Like, there's so many options for Universal Survival Saga. It's absolutely insane. You could do a full U6 build, and U6 is good enough to be. So I'll throw U6 into the conversation as another really good fun team with all the Kale and Caulifla units, LR Kale and Caulifla, even Tech Kale, STR Caulifla. There's so many units. The new physical Kefla EZA. There's just so many options here of premium units that are really good and updated that I think this team deserves to be on the top list as well, right? All right, down to the last two. So this one, we're jumping the gun a little bit. So Global is just about to get Super Vegeta. So I felt, considering I'm going to call this like a 2021 Global Best Teams edition, I'm going to include Super Vegeta on it. So I'm using this Vegeta as a filler. This is not the new Super Vegeta, but I think his art's kind of close. So I figured, sure, he's STR. We'll put him in as filler. But imagine that you have Super Vegeta as your leader here. Pure Saiyans, hands down, has probably the most options out of any team and the most premium options. So for this one, I literally didn't even bother with support. And I'm just like, look at all the crazy rotations you can do. And I wanted to highlight a couple, which is, I think this rotation of these two, the LR STR Vegito and LR Tech Gogeta, is one of the best rotations in the game, hands down. I think having Namek Goku with either AGL LR Gohan or STR Broly is one of the best rotations you can have in the game. And then I threw GT Goku on here to show you that, yeah, GT Goku and Vegeta could be on this team as well. Literally, Pure Saiyans has so many premium options, and it's a team that's constantly getting buffed because all of the premium units, or a lot of them, are Pure Saiyans. Anytime a Goku or a Vegeta is released, which is what, 80 or 90% of the time you're getting a Goku or Vegeta, they're constantly getting buffed. Not even to mention there's like the exchange LR Goku and Vegeta, the int one. Like, I don't even have them, and they're like a crazy good card. So yeah, there's so many Pure Saiyan options that it's absolutely mind-boggling that a lot of people, you could probably just consider them the best overall team just because they're always going to have good updated options. So even if like Super Vegeta starts to age, he's constantly getting support for his team where he's still going to be worth it running as the leader. Because the team you can build around him is so busted, right? All right, and then the last team I'm going to highlight is Hybrid Saiyans. Hybrid Saiyans, I do think, is probably the best defensive team in the game. So I kind of highlighted this team. There's so many options you can do, but I think this Gohan is probably pretty darn underrated. He is so ridiculously good. If you haven't used this unit, don't judge him until you've used him. So if you don't have him, wait until someday you maybe pull him as a secondary unit on a banner, but you need to actually try this guy out. And I absolutely love this Gohan. I got really lucky because I was someone in the camp of I'm not pulling for the Gohan as much as I even wanted Garlic Jr. I actually wanted Garlic Jr. more, and I did not get Garlic Jr. Still hoping to pick him up as a side unit. But I actually got really lucky and got this guy on the ticket. So typically if I'm not pulling on a banner and they do tickets, I still actually do the ticket summons just because they're pretty good value. And I got lucky and pulled the Gohan. And I am very glad I did. At 55%, he is absolutely ridiculously insane defensive juggernaut of a unit, right? We already know how crazy this guy is. This guy is still, this Tech Ultimate Gohan, still gets talks of being like the best Dokkan Fest, the best TUR, one of the best units in the game. This is one of the best aging units Dokkan has ever seen because of his guaranteed guard and his defensive stacking, how fast he stacks. It's actually crazy. And you combo with the guard, this guy just cannot be touched. So kind of similar to how I was talking about the LR Namek Frieza, anytime you can run like two of an absolute insane unit on a team, it's got to be considered the best team. Having two Tech Ultimate Gohans on a team is crazy. Defensively, you just cannot be touched. Then you just throw like this Gohan on rotation with them. Now, keep in mind, nobody really links great with Tech Ultimate Gohan. Until STR Ultimate Gohan actually gets his EZA, nobody really links well with Tech Ultimate Gohan. So you don't really have to worry about linking really well on his rotations. So like, for example, you could do AGL Gohan on rotation with Tech Ultimate Gohan, defensive wall rotation, right? Then Tech Ultimate Gohan maybe on rotation with this AGL Gohan. Don't link great, but doesn't matter. They stack defense and they're going to be like in a wall, right? I did want to highlight this rotation. So there are a lot of good hybrid Saiyans you can run other units, but I do want to highlight this rotation I think maybe people forget about. This Kid Trunks and this Kid Goten are still crazy. So I talked about on Dragon Ball Heroes how that Super Saiyan 3 Tech Gotenks is absolutely crazy. Basically, like this Goten and Trunks are that unit. They're basically very similar in the way that their stacking mechanic works, and they put up similar numbers. So this Goten and Trunks, they're putting up 5 to 6 mil attack stats when they're fully built up with 300k defense. Not to mention that they are subtly supporting the rotation. I think they do 18% for the rotation. I think it's attack or defense, one or the other, or both. I don't remember. But they actually have a little bit of support in their passive. Not to mention if you actually ran them. So like on this team, being a saviors as a sub leader skill for Gohan, you could run Krillin on this team if you wanted to. When Krillin is supporting these two with 60%, like this that rotation's crazy. And then the other thing to highlight with hybrid Saiyans. So defense is a big highlight with them, but also support. So I just threw this guy on here as an example as like a really good support. But keep in mind, hybrid Saiyans has a ton of good support units. So they've got like the high school Gohan. There's the other strength. It's like a great Saiyaman unit that's just like a super class support. And then just like so many other like crazy good support units. There's the physical EZA Gohan that just got his EZA. So yeah, hybrid Saiyans has no shortage of supports. Not to mention the GT. So both of those GT supports are hybrid Saiyan. Now the Goten and Gohan you wouldn't want to run because they're only for GT Hero. But you could run the Trunks and Goten card because they're Goku family and Vegeta family. So on a team like this, the whole team is Goku family or Vegeta family, so they would be supporting. So they're another option you can run. So obviously I didn't have enough team slots to like highlight everybody, but just know that hybrid Saiyans has a ton of good defensive options. They have a ton of good, I would say the Goten and Trunks are better offensive options. You could run like, I didn't even mention like the Int LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He's a better, more offensive option, although we all know he's a little underwhelming, right? But it's the whole LR EZA thing. They just are afraid of them other than Broly for some reason. But yeah, hybrids, they're a really great team. They have a lot of crazy options. Very, very good, right? Now, I know I'm only showing 7 teams here, and I know there's going to be people upset if I don't highlight a couple other teams. Another team that if I had more team slots on here to show, I would say Buu Saga would be another like top 10 team. I think this guy is a leader. Majin Buu Saga has a lot of great options. Not to mention you could run that Goten Trunks combo if you wanted to on there as well. You can run Videl on Buu Saga, and Videl's crazy as well. Videl is like a one-person wrecking machine. Is actually like if I were to like say a single unit as a team, like Videl could be a top team, like just Videl, because that's pretty much her team. It's just her, and then you support her. But Videl could be mentioned as well. But I think Buu Saga is a great team option. And then I didn't throw this out, but we've seen this guy around a couple times. But I think his Legendary Existence / Super Saiyans also very, very good team. You could put insane rotations on this team as well. So anyways, guys, I do have a Discord. If you need help with team building or just want advice, feel free to jump in and join us on there. But let me know who your favorite teams are. Let me know what you think of my list. If you agree, disagree, if there's any big teams I forgot about. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.